Hello, and welcome back to the Creative Differences Podcast. I'm Dallas, and I don't support brownface.
I'm Gabby, and damn, they even did Rita dirty like that, man. Like, come on.
I'm Colin, and it's just like, you didn't need to. There was no need for it. So why?
And I'm Demi, and I've been waiting 2 years for us to do this episode. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Throwback Thursdays, Fancast Fridays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, we are doing a Throwback Thursday in honor of the 60th anniversary of, as well as the upcoming remake of West Side Story.
Yep. Before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, review, because I sat through a 2.5 hour brownface bonanza, and I would like to be rewarded for my trouble.
This hilarious episode isn't going to do it for you?
Oh, God, this is about to be
It's like Dune all over again.
Oof.
That was
Dude,
amazing.
I wish I had been there for Dune. I was going to be the only person that
Who
had
had seen
actually seen it. I was forced to watch it in college, and it was
Oh, man.
amazing. Oh,
Amazing's a word
Tragedy.
for it. Anyway, West Side Story. First question of the day, our usual first question. When was the first time you saw this movie?
Of course, I had never watched this movie before. It was yesterday. Yep. Gabby?
I saw it in high school. I can't remember if it was school or one of my friends in high school had a bunch of classic movies at their house, so we would watch them there. So one of those situations.
I'm sure this is one that my parents showed me at some point, but I just didn't remember it at all. You know,
I feel
probably
you.
one of those.
So when's the first time you saw
Remember.
it? First time cognition. Yeah,
Like
that you were
actually
cognizant.
remembering that remembering it and holding on to it. That
Yeah.
would be 2 days ago.
Dope. My first time watching this movie was actually a couple of years ago. Shortly after they announced that they were going to be making a remake, I had always wanted to watch it because it is a classic musical and a classic movie. I do try and inform myself of classic movies as best I can. So I watched it for the first time a couple years ago with my friend Emily.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk about who did this. It was directed by Robert Wise and Jerome Robbins. Robert Wise directed The Sound of Music and
Yay.
Star Trek, the motion picture.
I
And
did not know that.
Right? I didn't know it either. So I started looking stuff up. Jerome Robbins directed the stage plays of West Side Story and Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh,
Yes.
if I was a rich man.
No. Yeah, shout out to, what was that, Gwen Stefani? Written by.
What?
Nice.
Oh, that was
That's
great.
adorable.
That was real
Dallas.
good.
He's not wrong.
I'm not wrong. It is Gwen
Yeah,
Stefani.
me.
Written by Ernest Levin, who wrote The King and I, North by Northwest, and The Sound of Music. All kinds of classics, starring all
See.
kinds of white people. This movie stars all kinds of white people and Rita Moreno. But more
And the guy who plays
specifically-
Chino.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that dude. More specifically, Natalie Wood, Richard Baymar, Russ Tamblyn, Rita Moreno, like we said, and
Yep.
George Shakiris?
Quién sabe.
What?
I don't know.
Okay. George something Greek and not Puerto Rican. The IMDb summary is 2 youngsters from rival New York City gangs fall in love, but tensions between their respective friends build toward tragedy, aka Romeo and Juliet, but with Puerto Ricans, but not really with Puerto Ricans, except one Puerto Rican. Romeo and Juliet.
I just want to say
New York.
before we start that Sound of Music might be my favorite musical of all time.
Nice.
So it was actually a treat for me to find out that Robert Wise is the director of this when I first saw it a couple years ago. Outside of Disney movies, Sound of Music was the first movie that I was ever like in love with.
Yeah, it's always nice when you find out someone who made a dope thing is responsible for something else dope.
Yeah.
Like when I found out the dude, Carlos Lopez Estrada, who made Blind Spotting, made Raya.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, Blind Spotting.
Mm. Oh, for me that happened so my favorite movie growing up when I was like a little baby, like 3-year-old, was A Little Princess, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and like my favorite Harry Potter movie is
Prisoner of
directed.
Azkaban.
Yeah,
True.
it's Alfonso Cuarón, like direct.
But yes, as you said, the story, it's Romeo and Juliet, at the time modernized for a
Right.
modern audience, because this movie came out in 1961,
Yes.
hence it being 60 years since it came out.
Goodness gracious.
I personally am a Shakespeare fan. We have discussed it in our group chat. I do not discuss Shakespeare with these people.
Wait, no, I like Shakespeare too.
Gabby's the only one I trust on this. Gabby, you would be the one I would talk to about Shakespeare, but you
Yeah.
haven't been in the group chat recently.
I'm useless.
But I love Shakespeare, and I do think it's always interesting to have people modernize old classics for a new age.
Yeah.
It's like watching the Romeo and Juliet with Leo DiCaprio
Or
and
Clueless,
Claire Danes.
which was
Yeah.
like Emma.
You know, I think that stuff is always fun to change it up and to see how you can change it up. I think it takes a lot of creativity to adapt something in that way. So I do think West Side Story does that really well. I think watching it this time around, I was a lot more aware of the Romeo and Juliet parallels. I could see it a lot more this time.
Yeah. Like Doc is Friar Tuck, Anita is like the nurse.
Yep.
Like Benvolio is Mercutio. Yeah.
Yep.
Or not Benvolio.
Bernardo.
Get it together. So, yeah.
There were two B names.
Is Mercutio.
Right.
And like Chino's Paris. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like Romeo and Juliet?
I do.
In the story.
To a degree. It depends on which version of Romeo and Juliet you're giving me.
Okay, I'm going to say like the OG. In that story, I don't know if either of you remember, how long is it between they meet and then they die?
Hella quick.
It's the same amount of time, basically.
Yeah. It's like
Well,
a day and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like real quick.
It's that
But
fast.
also, what I like
I
about
thought there
West
was
Side
a little
Story,
more time.
No.
Like
at
least 2 days.
What's even more reckless about Romeo and Juliet is that Romeo is fucking mooning over Rosalind at the beginning of the dance.
Yeah.
To cut in here, the play takes 4 days in total.
Okay,
Okay,
so this
so
was
there's
even
at least-
faster.
At least a couple.
West
a few
Side
days.
Story is even faster. But like what gets me is Romeo's over here like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed with Rosalind. And then he sees Juliet and was like, Rosalind who? Like,
Exactly.
and then like,
wait, ain't that her cousin too?
Yeah.
probably. Shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But
Keeping it in the family.
I thought that was reckless of him, and he can't be trusted. But also, originally, Romeo and Juliet was actually just supposed to be a gigantic cautionary tale. It's not even supposed to be the giant
It's
romance.
not a
that
romance.
that it's made out to be. It's supposed to be like, see what happens when you don't listen to your parents. Like, that was the original point of the play.
And people just
then people
misconstrued
like-
that and made a romance out of it. So there we go.
Exactly.
I don't know how that happened,
It's
but you read that story, it's like, oh, kids are dumb. That's the thing. But
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, it's really romantic, and it's
like,
how?
no, kids are
That's
dumb.
exactly
And-
why my favorite iteration of Romeo and Juliet that I've ever seen is the one that stars Lily James and Richard Madden, because it's the first time I've ever watched a version where I actually felt like I was watching two teenagers be dumb.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, this feels like we're watching them be super dumb.
Yeah.
Tony is dumb.
Yeah, they're all dumb.
Maria's dumb. And it's just, it's an extra level of stupid when you modernize it. Because if I read Shakespeare and, all his little off the top words, I'm like, this might just be how they were getting down back then.
Yeah.
And West Side Story, this is, quote unquote modern day New York. Y'all got parents and uncles and cousins in the house, in the apartment, and you're still doing all this dumb Romeo and Juliet stuff. But it just feels
I mean, to be fair, so
Stupider.
did the Romeo and Juliet. They also had parents and cousins and stuff in the
Yeah.
house.
right. But like the scene where freaking Tony shows up to the fire escape,
Yeah.
and he's
Same
like,
thing in Romeo and
Maria,
Juliet,
and
though.
she's like, hey, shut up. My dad's inside. You hear him talking. Shut up. And then he comes up and he's like, nah, Maria. And he keeps walking up the
He's
fire
just
stage.
being
And
reckless.
she's like, yo, will you shut? She told him to shut up like 3 times.
Yeah,
and he
I know.
starts singing, screaming. And I know the singing is
Part of the musical.
you're right, so they can't hear that.
It's part of the expressionism.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
not diegetic.
But it's like, nigga, if you don't shut up.
Right? That's how also, how do I put this? So I'm Latina, right? If my dad heard me outside my window, he wouldn't have acted like Maria's dad did. I'm sorry. He would have been at the window like, Gabby, I called you. Or actually, it would have been my dad. It would have been my mom, and she would have grabbed me by the hair and been like, what are you doing out here with this white boy? Like, it wouldn't have been that smooth. Like, where are her parents?
Yeah.
That is not accurate. That's how you know this was written by white people.
We're
It's
gonna
like,
talk
no.
about. I'm gonna talk about that a little while later
right.
too. Actually,
I definitely want to say that's part of the reason why I feel like this wasn't for y'all. This is not the story you guys needed to tell. Or this isn't the way you needed to tell it.
Or like involve
When
some brown
you're-
people.
Y'all are white. Maria's played by a woman named Natalia Nikolevna Zakharenko.
Yeah,
AKA
she's
Natalie
from
Wood.
like she's
Yeah.
like from Russia.
Yeah. She's as white as a person can be. As is everyone involved. Why even make them Puerto Rican?
I think it
You
was
clearly don't know anything about Puerto
they
Rico.
don't. I think it was probably the Hays Code at the time, wasn't it? They can't do interracial relationships. Was this still during the Hays Code?
I think so.
Because then that's why you cast Natalie Wood. That's also why they
No.
would do.
No. I'm saying like, okay. I see what
Yeah,
you're
why
saying. For
not
the
just make
adaptation.
them like? Why not even just make them like poor white people versus or like two white gangs
Right,
against
do
each other?
that.
Yeah, just like Romeo and Juliet.
Exactly.
yeah, the Hays Code was around until 1968.
Yeah, so
Right.
this was Hays Code time. So that's why you cast Natalie Wood.
Well,
You
no,
have to
because,
cast a white girl, but
Rita
like
Moreno was with oh boy.
yeah, but he was
He
I
was
don't know how
not
to
white.
explain that.
He was
No, I
Greek.
know. You right.
Before we move on to characters, I do want to hear Colin's thought. I know that Colin hates Romeo and Juliet. I'm curious.
I don't hate it.
Mm.
I think it's stupid, but I don't hate it.
Sorry,
Same.
it's very hard to read tone in group chats.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think Shakespeare's all that much. But like Romeo and Juliet, I feel like that one is just like, can we just control your kids? Like,
No,
But that's
they
the point.
weren't even she wasn't even getting the pipe. Like, come on.
Yes, she did.
Why
She
was
got
she?
the pipe.
Oh, did she?
Yeah,
She
she
does,
does because
yeah.
they get married and then they spend
did.
like
Okay.
a night together.
Maria
yeah.
didn't.
No,
Jesus.
no, Maria did.
Maria.
It was heavily implied, but
she
it was
got-
the 60s, so she couldn't have her shirt off.
Yeah.
Like she couldn't be naked, but like she was in her
Oh no,
underwear.
we're
He
gonna
had
talk
his
about
shirt
that
off.
later because that's part of the reason why Maria's trash.
And also in the like we had to read the book for some point in school, and in the book it's like they spent the night together,
Yeah. No. They.
which and the book came after the stage play and the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Pipe was laid. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, pipe was laid. Colin, why do you like this movie?
Yeah, I want to hear why you like it.
It's fun. I don't know. The music slaps. It lost me a bit in the last half hour. I felt like it dragged.
Mm.
Like after the fight, I was like, okay, you could have wrapped this up a little quicker. You know, whatever. That's fine. You want to make your movie too long, you make your movie too long. Everyone's doing it these days, so I guess it's back in vogue.
It's been a thing for
Ever.
as
Right,
long
but-
as movies have existed.
I think what bothered me
Curious
about
that
that particularly was that the intermission wasn't, I guess, because it was, you know, a digital thing. We're watching
Mhm.
online. They didn't have, the intermission was 2 seconds, so it was like, you lied to me.
Well, no, Colin, you pause it and you get up.
Part of the reason I like this movie is because it is, in a sense, what Dallas does with his fan casts,
Mm.
where it's like, take this and modernize it and thus make it interesting.
Mm.
I don't care about Romeo and Juliet. I can't understand half of what they're saying.
Right.
This, I get it, and it just made it way more interesting. I would want West Side Story now, but done now, taking place now, everything now, to like,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Literally,
Baz
there better
Luhrmann.
not be no freaking miscommunication. We got cell phones. Don't
Well,
do this.
I mean, that's how you communicate. It's not what you say. There's still gonna be
Play it. If I send you a
miscommunication.
text that says "Don't kill yourself," you better not.
I feel like if
you know how they
Also,
would solve that
some
is they
people-
would have her like lose her phone or break it or
It
it dies.
Mhm.
And some people text like Gabby. So
Oh
that
my
scene
God.
with Chino could still happen because Gabby texts in segments.
I do. I'm
so Gabby will
sorry.
text your
Bernardo.
brother ... and she'll send
A
another
knife.
text. There was a knife ... and then Maria could be like, "Is Tony okay?" So yeah, we can work that out.
You know what? Actually,
It's me AF.
we should just make a short film from the point of view of the phones that are being used.
Yo, that would be great. But like
Characters. So do you want to talk about
yeah,
how
let's talk about
Maria's
let's talk about
trash?
characters.
She was out there dick dizzy. Yes, Maria is trash. Also, I don't think I gave my initial thoughts. You can infer. I do not like this movie.
He was so mad the
breaking
whole time
the
watching this.
positivity oath that we've got going there?
Yeah. So
But we could do it for this because it was just so out of pocket. Like, how dare you?
yeah.
Well, it's also
This
like
Once you
one
just
same.
slap
so
a bunch
many-
of brown face
yeah,
on people,
exactly. Like, we could be mean to it.
I
like,
don't need to give you my positivity.
yeah, no.
You couldn't even give me Puerto Rican.
I'm a little bit bitter. They literally gave us one Puerto Rican, and they made her do brown face too. Like,
So,
rude.
All right,
And they made her talk in an accent. And they made her talk in an accent. Like,
they made
come on.
Let's bring this up because I was reading some trivia about this movie.
Let's do it.
That doesn't feel like a thing you have trivia about.
Oh, it absolutely is.
It feels too big.
Because
to
they
I
be
feel like
were-
it's
trivia.
important to be honest about these
The
things.
trivia
No,
is
but
the
I mean,
fact that
trivia is like, you know,
Trivia is like a quirky,
this
fun word.
person
Oh, no,
kept
no,
the
no,
costume,
facts.
not
No, no.
this person
This-
darkened their face.
no. See, this is why there's a difference between movie trivia and a fun fact. This is not a fun
No,
fact.
this is not a fun
Okay,
fact. This is
okay.
just information. I feel like
Just
trivia is
the
playful
facts.
and like implies fun. So maybe just like a fact about this movie, darkness.
Yo, so she said that West Side Story was the worst example in her career of having to use makeup to darken her skin tone because apparently this was not the first time or only time.
No. If you watch her other movies where she had to play like the quote unquote exotic person, also Rita
no.
Moreno is a very light skinned Latina. Like
She
really,
is.
she
Yeah.
was the exotic one, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
But like she said, it was one of the few times that she had to play the Puerto Rican. Quote, she said, the makeup I had to wear in West Side Story was worse. That was like mud. I remember some shots of George, who, by the way, is still my dear friend, where he looked like somebody had taken him by the ankles and dipped him in a bucket of mud. It was so thick and it was so dark. Our faces would streak and show our real color underneath. And I remember saying to a makeup man once, I don't know why I have to be this color. You know, I said, this is not my color. And he actually said to me as he was making me up, what are you, racist?
Really,
What?
motherfucker? But also, you can see it in the movie. There's a scene where like one of the guys that's like Puerto Rican in the background is like dabbing his face, and my boyfriend and look, because we're watching it together. He's like, he's dabbing the makeup off, and I was like, right, he is. Like he started the scene brown and ended the scene with like a corner of his cheek white. Like,
Oh no.
it's reckless,
Guys, as black and other people of color,
Yeah.
we have to call out the brown face when we see it.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they did that to Rita, come on, like she wasn't brown enough for you. Like also, like I
apparently
said,
not.
she light skinned. Like
Also, there's one thing about quote unquote classics that I don't really rock with in terms of giving certain things a pass for certain things, because everyone was up in arms about a Golden Girls episode in which they went to a spa and got mud masks because people saw an image and was like, they're doing blackface.
What?
No. But
That's
here
very
we
different.
have legitimate brown face.
no one talks
It's
about
just like fine with a lot of people. It shouldn't be. And obviously it's not fine with us.
I don't know if it's fine or if it's just that people don't think about it.
And that's a problem, because when I see this, a bunch of people playing Puerto Ricans with brown face on, I think of
Literal
like
brown face.
John Wayne playing Genghis Khan. I think of like the jazz singer, Song of the South. Like these are all racist.
Yeah.
But this one is just like, oh, it's so good. It's such a great musical.
Yeah.
And it's like, nigga, this is racist.
If it is held up as beloved, people are going to let its flaws sort of, oh, well, they did that, but it was the time or whatever. You know,
Right.
West Side Story, if people had thought it was trash, maybe we'd be, people would be talking about the brown face, but because people love it,
Yeah.
it gets a pass.
Right. And that's more my thing, because the Egypt movies, they didn't do well.
No.
And when they came out, people were like, yo, this is
Not cool.
racist. Like, what are you doing? And then the dude was like, oh, I can't market a movie with Muhammad such and such or so and so. And it's like,
What the
well,
I remember
yeah,
that.
nigga, you are racist.
I remember that quote.
Right.
That's
So
stupid.
we don't look at that like we look at West Side Story or insert old racist movie here. I want to talk about why Maria's trash.
Okay, let's hear it.
Renato kills old boy, Riff, I think his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And then Tony
Yes.
In his rage.
murders
Yes.
Yeah.
Maria's brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Chino
Mhm.
goes to Maria
Mhm.
and he's like, Maria, you okay? You been fighting? He was like, yeah, the rumble. And this is where it gets crazy, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing she says is, oh, there was no rumble. Tony's going to fix all that. And he's like, no, there was.
I'm like, I'm dirty, girl. Like,
And
do
she's
you-
like, no,
do
no,
you
no,
not
there
see
was.
me?
It's like, this man just ran up to you. You clearly see that he's been in a fight. He's telling you where he was. And you're like, nah, that didn't happen. Like, you're an idiot.
I think she's just naive.
Yeah.
She's dumb. Like, that's ignoring
Dumb.
physical and verbal signs. And he's like, Bernardo, there was a knife. And she says, is Tony okay? Girl.
I think that her assumption in that moment was that Bernardo
Bernardo has
stabbed Tony.
But at the same
Which is a
time,
dumb assumption
why
for
would
a couple
Chino be
reasons.
the one telling her
Because
that?
one, yes,
He wouldn't
that
care.
should be. Also, wait a second and let him finish.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find out that's not what he's saying. Also, if that were the case,
I
it
mean,
would probably...
To be fair, I'll give them that because that's any movie ever. And especially Romeo and Juliet, the whole thing is based on people not communicating well. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'll give them that as like
yeah, but a
this
lot of
doesn't make
times, like, your
sense,
character's
but-
going to come off stupid if
Also-
you're doing that level of miscommunication.
They
Like,
kinda
I
are
say, hey,
stupid.
Bernardo, oh my God, there was a knife. And you say, is Tony okay?
Well,
and then,
also-
hold on.
Yeah.
And then he says, he murdered your brother. And he runs off to go cry in the car.
Mhm.
She's hearing it all in the streets. Oh, this nigga killed Bernardo. It's crazy out here. And then
Crazy out here, bro.
she sees him
Kind of world
popping
star.
up. This is how I summarize movies.
Okay.
And he pops up in her room on some Edward Cullen nonsense. She turns around. She sees him. She believes he killed her brother because the first thing she says to him, "You're a killer." She starts doing that little soft ass thing that women do in movies where they don't really want to hurt you, so they're just like, eh. And then she hugs him and starts crying in his arms.
Yeah.
And yo, you met this dude yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
You had a few conversations and a song.
Yep.
He killed your brother.
Mhm.
You called him a killer, and now you're just hugging, kissing, and singing together,
Mhm.
which is trash enough.
Mhm.
And then they have sex.
Mm.
They hit the skins. She gives it up. She gives him the gushy. After
Dallas.
So wait, so
she's
now
known this man for one day.
I need to
in the
ask Dallas a question.
What's up?
Does that make you Team Anita?
Are you on any? Why would Dallas be on any team? It doesn't like this.
You know what? I'm on Team Anita because she's actually Puerto Rican.
Hey,
But-
there we go.
Yes.
So you have sex with this dude who you've known for a day,
Yep.
and the main thing he's done since you've known him
Is kill
is
your-
murder your brother.
Like the major thing.
Maria is the biggest of trash.
I think that's
Basura.
But yeah, that's definitely the character arc. Is going from this girl who is completely naive about the entire world around her. She's just moved to the States.
Mm-hmm.
She knows nothing.
They also try to keep us locked up as much as possible.
As we
Just gonna throw that
saw
out
with
there.
Bernardo, because Bernardo was like, "Yo, we rolling out right now, homie."
He was like, "Who were you near?
Who were you
No.
talking to?
Out.
We going home.
Mhm.
Yeah, her storyline is going from completely naive to giving that speech at the end of the movie. You know, it's very obvious she is no longer the naive girl that she was when we met her in this movie. And I think visually it's kind of indicated, if I'm remembering correctly, she starts off this movie with the white dress with the red ribbon around it.
Just
and when
like a little bit of
red, a little darkness. And then we get to the end of the movie and she's in that full red ensemble. Like that
the
is
color
her
of the blood that Tony shanked out of Bernardo.
Exactly.
I see.
Exactly.
Own
She's
blood.
Covered in it.
that is her character arc. It is to go from being that stupid to
Or that just like she's not allowed to go outside. Like,
and to finally seeing what life actually is.
yeah, and to see what Bernardo knew.
Anita is the best character in the movie.
But yeah, she is. I love her. But I love that though because it just underlines how much of an actual just cautionary tale Romeo and Juliet is, right?
Mhm.
Because like Juliet also like they kill her cousin and she's still like, I don't care, Romeo. You
I think
okay?
she
Like,
pipes
let's run."
Romeo after
Yeah.
he kills her cousin.
Yep, he does. She does. She marries him and then pipes him. Like she like puts his name on her name. Like, no, girl, what are you doing? I think it just like underscores how fucking dumb that story is. or actually not dumb because that's the entire like that's what
the
we
point.
forget. That's the point of the story is like look at these idiots. It's further underscored by how little time they knew each other in West Side Story. Because in Romeo and Juliet, at least it's like double that. It's like 4 days. Like,
At least get a weekend.
yeah, like it's a weekend. It's a long weekend.
4-day weekend, guys.
Yep. Thursday
Memorial
to
Day.
Sunday.
I like the fact that Anita is not played by a white woman.
That's a good start.
This is gonna be like kind of gonna be like the Dune episode for me, where most of my observations are just said through a layer of this is silly and I'm gonna say it in a silly way. Anita says some things that I have questionable. The first thing, which is really nitpicky, but like, don't tell Maria how her brother puts it down. That's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
There's a scene where she talks about,
Oh,
oh yeah, they're gonna fight, and let me tell you, after Bernardo have a fight, he lays it down. Like, yo, are you insane? No one talks to their friend like that. No one should, and she's a sick
No.
individual.
Plenty of people talk to their friends like that.
Not about their siblings. But also, there's a line in her song. Is it called A Boy Like That? Where she's talking about Tony and how you shouldn't be with him.
Yes, a boy like
One of the
that.
lines is, a boy who kills cannot love. A boy who kills has no heart. Your boyfriend stabbed a dude today. Like,
He's probably stabbed dudes before. He's a gang leader. Like,
right. Like, and it gets you off. You really like when he fights people. But yeah, he stabbed someone. He murdered a dude about
I mean,
28 minutes ago.
hey,
Now you're
it-
singing, a boy who kills cannot love. Like,
It
he
always
loves him.
changes when it's somebody that you like.
Exactly. Hypocrisy.
That's just human nature.
But yeah, other than that, Anita's cool.
Yeah, Anita's great. I can see why Rita Moreno won the Oscar that year for West Side Story. She's just so cool. Also, like the scene where a boy like that scene
Mhm.
where it's that shot of Maria going to open the door and you can just see her silhouette in the pane glass and then it opens and it's almost like a horror movie. It's amazing. There's a lot of emotion in this movie, obviously.
Hello.
But
So much more.
Anita has the hardest time because of the. I get there's people call it the rape scene, people call it the taunting scene, which is how I read it on IMDb.
Yeah, taunting is like,
I feel like
it's interesting. Those feel like two extreme ways to say it.
Yeah,
It's obviously supposed to feel like a rape scene. Taunting is the understatement of the century.
yeah.
That's a hate crime that happened in that shop. I can't call it a full-on rape scene because it's just so silly. The things they do in this movie are so silly.
I disagree
The
with you on
violence-
that.
Who are they gonna put on top of her? Baby John? John
I don't
Baby?
know who it
John
it
was.
was
Boy?
Baby John.
One of the white boys.
It didn't matter.
I didn't know the rest of my names.
I know all their names. I don't know. I know one of them's named Arab, and I have questions about that.
One
but
of them
we
is
can leave that
Action.
alone. Action. That's actually a pretty cool name
That's
for a
great.
gang
And
member.
anybody's? What is that?
That was confusing. I was like,
Yeah,
Well,
anybody's
anybody's
is
who
a person?
wants to join the gang.
Yeah.
That's
She
a
ain't
little
in the
Peter
gang.
Pan
Oh,
looking
that's
girl,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
And-
Sprite. No, I'm joking.
Right. She does look like Sprite. They like grab him and it just turns into like bring it on. They like lift him up in this choreographed thing and they're gonna like gently place him down. And I'm like, this is dumb. This scene is uncomfortable and I feel the uncomfortability in it. But not everything needs choreography. Obviously, don't show me that because I hate rape scenes. That's my own thing. But like now I'm just looking
That
at
should be most people's thing.
right now I'm just looking at these dudes twirling around. It's like I'm not even. It takes me out of it.
That's a taste
Obviously,
thing.
that's a musical.
Because I'm
thing. Yeah,
definitely
like-
going to bring that up later.
Yeah, musicals are gonna do that, but it's like there's certain things that once you decide we're gonna choreograph the hell out of this, it makes me feel like I'm watching the Power Rangers movie. Like remember that scene we talk about where it's like Billy, you can just run over there. The fact that you jumped and did 6
Cartwheel.
backflips to get there, it took you longer.
I think I have more of an appreciation for that scene because I found out more movie trivia, guys.
Oh, no.
That
I don't like this. Where this is
I
going
feel
about.
like trivia
you shouldn't.
implies.
Oh,
I
no.
feel
You
like
shouldn't like where this is
trivia
going at all.
implies playfulness.
There is no
none here.
playfulness.
Don't say
Surprise.
trivia. Say facts.
Yeah, okay, fine. The movie facts.
Yes.
Movie facts. Rita Moreno was actually reduced to tears while filming this scene.
Oh shit!
Of
I would
course.
too. That's
well,
fucking
no,
aggressive
because
as
it
fuck.
triggered her
Oh,
from
no.
something that happened in her childhood.
Oh,
All the guys had to stop in the midst of filming the scene to comfort her.
Big yikes.
So, like, I have such an appreciation for Rita Moreno giving that performance,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
that's
sucks.
horrible. Rita Moreno is so good.
yeah. She
Oh yeah,
is.
definitely.
She fully
Incredible.
deserves that Oscar.
Indeed, she does.
Also, all that bullshit she had to put up with. Give her an Oscar for that.
Yeah, 60s were a bad time.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any opinions on any of the other characters? We are so long gone right now.
Tony, I want to talk about Tony.
I like Tony.
Yeah, you know what? Tony's an idiot, but I do like him.
Tony's an
because-
idiot
He's a
because he's a
himbo.
good guy.
He's a himbo.
Right,
He tried
he's
his
an
best.
idealistic idiot. He's out of the gang.
He tried his best.
They're doing a little war council, and he comes in. It's funny to me because
It was like beat it.
I see everything through a black lens.
Yeah.
So he comes in to tell them basically, fight with your hands. And I'm just seeing the scene from Friday when Pop is talking to Craig.
Oh my God.
He finds a gun, and he's like, y'all kids these days, y'all so quick to pick up a gun. You're scared to take an ass whooping, you know? He said, you win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. And this is like a black cinema staple. That's pretty much what he's saying. He's like, yo, just fight with your hands. Just scrap. Run fades, as Caleb City would say. And lots of us would say. And I respect that because, you don't got to stab somebody because
Just want to
they
fight.
twirled into your neighborhood during a basketball game or whatever the hell.
And it was his way of like saving his girlfriend's brother.
Yeah, he's also like, yo, I'm trying to pipe your sister. And if she's crying about you, I don't think I'll be able to give her the pipe.
Surprise. Yes, you will.
Yes, you will, because she's trash. But at the time, he didn't know that. So he thought she might actually care about the dude.
The thing about Tony is like, yeah, he's a really good guy. And it's funny because Richard Barrymore said that he was not a fan of his portrayal of Tony because he felt Tony should be a little bit more street hardened because he is just out of the gang. He was like, this is too much of a nice guy.
He was pretty soft. But,
Yeah, but he plays it very, very well. As Dallas was complaining about on Twitter, there's a dude in the gang called Baby John or
Baby John.
something.
Who
So-
let this nigga in the game?
So, so clearly Tony could have also been a gang member.
There is no way. Everything about these gangs, I can't take seriously.
It's
like,
not
yo,
real.
I used to watch Gangland, fam. Like, I know people who have
Listen,
been in gangs. I can't take these dudes
You
seriously.
saw the
No.
message I sent into the group chat. It said nobody ... West Side Story. Gangsters snap and do pirouettes.
That's some iconic snapping though.
It is.
It really
It
is. Every line that Baby John had.
Oh,
I'm just
honey
looking
bun.
around. Who put him on?
Who let you in?
You don't have no OGs in the neighborhood to be like, yo, Baby John, this ain't for you, man. You ain't
Obviously
built for this.
not.
They
This-
have no OGs.
Nah. They are the OGs.
Right.
They're like the you don't want any part of this, do we?
Exactly. Where was that dude for Baby John? But I will respect this. The Jets do not snitch. When that cop came in pressing everybody, even Baby John was solid. He didn't fold. I thought he was gonna fold like laundry, but he was on the wall like, no, we don't know nothing. I ain't talking to no cops. I was like, okay, Baby John.
Yeah.
I kind of see how you
Never
got
talk
here.
to the police. Never.
Never talk to the police. Even the white dudes know that.
Yep.
I feel like we can move on to visuals and sounds. We have talked
See.
about the characters for so long.
Yeah, because these visuals. Okay.
Let's do it. Cinema.
So this is like very much of the musicals of the time.
Absolutely.
Like, so that's why I wasn't as angry as you are, Dallas.
Oh,
Well,
I love a good classic
yeah,
musical.
like this one, I was like, this is campy. This is like very well choreographed. They have never met a gangster in their entire lives. Whoever's writing this, but it's also just like this is like, I mean, of course this won Best Picture because like musicals were winning Best Picture like every other year at this point in time, and it was like just very of its time. So of course, like I love the choreography.
Oh my
I
gosh,
thought the
yeah.
dancing was a little bit silly. I was like, Puerto Ricans don't dance like that. Like the mambo, I was like, that's not mambo. I mean, it is. But it's not. I was like, no.
Yeah, about the dancing. I love the choreography in this movie. It is so well done. Well, I think it's also I want to say it's the original Broadway choreography as
Okay.
well. I mean, it was choreographed by the guy who did the Broadway show.
It
Right.
was directed by the guy.
And,
that-
yeah, but I think he also choreographed it. So
Oh yeah.
and he directed 4 numbers before being fired. Sorry, there's your movie trivia as well. But being a fan of musicals, I love that musicals there's sort of an amount of expressionism that's involved in that. Music is how you express everything.
Mhm.
And dancing is also how you express that as well because it goes with the music. This movie does such a fantastic job of the choreography really evoking and expressing the violence and what's going on screen in a very artsy way, I guess you could say. There were times where I kind of thought to myself, I wonder if Blind Spotting, the TV series, had any inspiration from West Side Story because of the moments in Blind Spotting where they would do the dancing and it was very evocative of what they wanted you to feel, and it was telling a story. And that's very much what the dancing in this is doing as well. And then like the colors in this movie, bro, especially the use of the color red.
Yeah.
I kind of miss when movies would like bathe scenes in a certain color of light to express the mood that they're trying to give you. Because like when they're singing Tonight, I believe it is, and the sky is red and everybody's lit with red, and it's like, obviously this is not practical, this is not happening in real life,
Right.
but
Yeah, this whole movie was filmed on a soundstage.
yeah,
Like,
but like it tells you so much about how everybody is feeling in this moment, and I feel like movies don't really do that anymore.
I think if they do, it's much more subtle.
You should see Last Night in Soho. I mean, you won't. You shouldn't. But
You
do.
won't, you shouldn't.
Edgar likes, the colors and the lights and all that.
Yeah.
But Edgar's also like a massive, massive fan of classic movies. He has like an encyclopedic knowledge of movies. So like,
Yeah.
of course he does this kind of stuff.
Which is funny because part of that movie, the whole thing is like, she's one of those, I was born in the wrong time as people. And she loves the 60s, which is when this was made. Because the 60s were like that. Colin,
Me.
you've been quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you like this thing.
That's how I roll.
So I want you to talk about it.
That is how he rolls.
I understand that you make a movie and it's a musical, and so music is going to be a big part of that. When I feel like I accidentally put on the bad part of 2001: A Space Odyssey as soon as I start this movie, no, thank you.
I hated that. I was so confused.
Because the thing
Me
is,
too.
Demi had warned us that it starts
did.
with a musical thing, and I was like, okay, that's fine. What bothered me was not the music; it was it's like freaky bars and colors. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's Manhattan in
Yeah, it's-
lines.
I just
Manhattan.
like, what is this?
it just goes on for so
Yeah,
long.
I didn't get that, but I knew what it was from like just looking at it. I was like, this is the island of Manhattan.
Yeah, I went to look up
Interesting.
why they did that,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't find an explanation.
Was it a thing from like, because there was like an intermission, so could it have just been like an overture?
Well, I think what happened was usually movies back then, the credits were at the beginning of the movie.
Well, you
Right.
had to. That was part of the Directors Guild
Yeah, yeah.
agreement.
There are no credits at the beginning of this movie, and I
Yeah.
think it's because the credits are so long that they had to put them at the end.
Mm.
But then they kept the interlude because the interlude is, I think it's part of the Broadway show, and the music is so beautifully written. They were like, well, we don't want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So let's just put something behind it and call it a day.
I was like, is my TV buffering?
We should look that up though, because I know for Star Wars, George Lucas was like very adamant that there couldn't be
Opening credits. yeah, yeah.
opening credits, and like he was almost was he kicked out of the Directors Guild, or he was like threatened?
I know
like,
that
they
he
were
had
big
issues
mad.
with the DGA.
They were like big mad about it because they were like, "How dare you?" And then it's like, because Star Wars, like it can't start with credits. Like, no, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, it starts with a
he's-
scroll of text. Like, it'll be
Yeah.
confusing. This is also a musical. So, songs,
Yes.
guys.
Yeah.
Music is a thing.
Yeah, but,
Something's
like-
Coming is my favorite song in West Side Story,
Which one is that?
probably. That's the first song that Tony sings.
Oh.
Who knows?
Oh.
Could be.
That one, I did not like that song.
I love that song.
but I think it's because of
fight.
the guy that plays Tony. I don't think that was a good song for his voice.
that's not his voice. Most of these actors are
Yeah, they got a
dubbed.
singer voice.
Oh, then whoever
back.
they chose to sing that song, I was like, no.
I
sorry,
also
no.
think I have an attachment to it because when Glee did West Side Story, Darren Criss sang it, and I loved his iteration, and I also really liked the movie's iteration. So I think I just, in general, like that song.
Honestly, the song I probably had the most fun with, I don't know the name of it because I don't know the name of these songs,
What
but was
happening?
just when the Jets were waiting for the Sharks.
Oh, Officer Krupke.
Oh,
Yes, that song slapped.
Dude, I love America.
I want to talk about
America's
both of these
great.
songs. Officer Crookie and This Is
Like
America.
it slaps if I don't think about it too hard.
Okay, so
And then I
that's the
start
thing with me.
thinking about it and I'm like, okay, this was made in the 60s.
Yes.
Yes, it
And
was.
that one, I was like, yo, this song is cute. They got all the little parts and it's funny. Like musically, I like this song.
Uh-huh.
But it's how Demi talks about, the social justice brain and the
Yeah.
film brain. And
Hey,
the
we brought back the
fun
three
brain.
brains.
We did. All
We
the
gotta
brains.
start bringing those back up.
So yeah, my social justice brain was thinking,
Mm.
oh, okay. The song about police harassment is sung by the Aryan Brotherhood. Like real brown people in New York get beaten and killed by cops constantly. So I don't want or need to see the white boys making their happy
Cop
little
commentary.
happy little song about like, oh, we don't like this cop because he's giving us a hard time.
But also, damn, y'all had resources because like they're gonna send you to the therapist first. Like what?
What's America like now? What are we doing?
Right. But yeah, so that was an issue of like, musically this is cool, but I'm not really rocking with it for extra textual reasons.
And America, which is
I
also
yes.
one of my
Okay,
favorite songs in
I
the
agree
movie.
with
I have a
Benvolio.
very important question about that song.
Yeah.
Does
Or-
anyone of color sing the line "If you're all white in America"?
No.
Anyone?
That is
Anyone
in
at
my
all?
notes. That is in my notes because that is my
'Cause that
favorite line in the
it
song.
hits.
It's a great
such an
line.
I'm sure
incredible
Chino
line.
sings it. He is
Okay.
color.
Okay. Okay. I'll take it. But I just I was watching it like this line hits.
Mind you guys,
Except that it's direct.
I'm not excusing
given
this
by
movie
white
for this.
dude.
I was just
No.
pointing out that Chino also is probably
no,
in this
that's
scene.
you answered my
good.
question. Like that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah,
But
I
also,
wrote down. I was like, "Yo, that is a bar. Like that's
Yeah.
a great
Yep.
line." But you're a bunch of white dudes in brown face saying it.
Well, also like the implication at that point in time, right, is that like Anita's characters and all the women like that they're the right ones and Benvolio's like bitter versus like
Bernardo?
Benvolio's like
Benvolio.
Bernardo. God damn it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you are wrong.
Beef. Call
Yeah,
him
I'm
beef.
so sorry. Like the implication in that song is that Bernardo is like embittered and he's not speaking the truth. And Anita and the women are like hopeful and honest and they're speaking the truth, right? And the
Except
reality
for that one line when he is speaking the absolute truth.
No,
Most of his lines-
But
Honestly,
no,
yes.
the point that I'm making is like the tone in the movie is that like Benvolio's wrong, but like nah, he's right.
No,
like,
he is spitting
we're
facts.
Like
He is-
in
this
the
nigga's
modern
spitting.
sensibility, I'm like nah, he's right. Like Anita, cool,
Yeah.
whatever. But like Anita, like from like the Latino perspective and like why my parents came to this country and stuff, they're also speaking the truth. My mom says, do you know how beautiful my country is? She's like, do you really think that I left that place where, I could sip on coconuts all day in a hammock next to the beautiful ocean? There's a fisherman that comes in the morning with his boat just full of fish that we can eat. Do you think I would have left that? Like, no, I left it because I had to. Like, there was really nothing else for me there. I could not advance. I could not grow. And who knows how much longer we were going to have access to the things we had access to because of how broken our country had become. She's like, I had to come here. And she's like, but do you really think that I would have left that if I had something better? No, I would have stayed. I loved it there. So like, there's actually that too, right? Anyway, that song was like,
And
I
this
think
is
that's-
why we needed Gabby on the podcast today.
And I also think that's something that the song misses a little bit because obviously the song's called America. So if you're talking about the reasons you need to leave Puerto Rico, it's different because the song feels like it's more about idealizing America,
yeah.
which is
So-
not what you were just saying your mom was doing.
No,
She was saying,
like,
yeah, like it's not about how great America is. It's about reasons I had to come here.
Yeah.
But the song is like, yo, America's great. And it's like, nigga, it is 1961. America's
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah.
It's 2021. America's not great. But
Yeah.
like,
So,
but like,
that-
I understand Benvolio's perspective, and I
Bernardo.
also
keep calling
understand.
this man
Just
Benvolio.
go
Sorry, I'm so
Roll with
sorry.
it.
Bernardo. I understand Bernardo's perspective, and I also understand like Anita's perspective.
Right.
Like they're both right, and they're both especially right nowadays.
yeah. So the thing is, though, the lyrics to America were also changed specifically for the movie because the Broadway version, there were apparently some more movie trivia, guys.
Is this trivia or is this facts?
Facts.
Oh, no.
There had been complaints that the Broadway version was too belittling of Puerto Rico and
Goodness
Puerto
gracious.
Ricans, and it mostly ridiculed them. So the movie lyrics changed so that they would emphasize the racism and discrimination that Puerto Ricans were facing in America.
Because
And then they
again, like I
didn't
said,
cast
like
Puerto Ricans.
yeah. But like again, like it's like what my mom said. It's like my country is beautiful and I loved it
Yeah.
there. We came here because we had no choice. She's like, basically, I would trade California for El Salvador quick if I felt like I would be safe and have a good life there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not the way that it's designed because the CIA did a bunch of bullshit in my country. But whatever, it's fine.
Also, the Broadway version, it's not sung between the women and the men. It's a song that is only between Anita and Rosalia and I think the other women.
Oh damn.
Bernardo and the boys are not involved at all in that song in the Broadway version.
Oh
That's a very
damn.
big change.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's fully just like Anita, like I love it here, like.
I don't know actually. I've never read the lyrics to the original version. I just found this out like yesterday. I did look up what the differences are between the Broadway show and the movie adaptation. They switched the order of G Officer Crumpkey and Cool. Cool is actually supposed to happen before the Rumble,
I
and
wanna
G
talk
Officer
about Cool,
Crump.
too.
Which one's cool?
the freaking Billie Eilish song that I sing? Be a cool boy.
I love that song
It's like
too.
this whispering ass nigga. Ice is cool, but like, I was just thinking like, yo, Billie Eilish was definitely
The
seen West
song-
Side Story.
the song about
where he's like y'all need to
toxic
calm down.
masculinity.
But he's also like, y'all need to calm down because these cops are gonna see that we're acting suspicious.
Yeah.
Coolest. That's the one that I put on my Instagram story, and you were talking about the drama. When what's that nigga's name?
It
What
was
is-
Arab.
Oh my god, Arab. When Arab is pounding his fist, has that face like he's in a heartburn commercial,
And he like falls back dramatically.
and then he just goes pow, and then just like falls to his knees. It's like, yo, there's no way this wasn't supposed to be funny. This is hilarious.
But I feel like all I can think is all of these are very classical dancers that are used to just being in like ballet where you have to be really expressive and
Also,
nobody's
The
talking.
choreography is ballet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, yeah,
There was pirouettes and I was like, damn.
Gangsters
Everyone
pirouette,
has just
guys.
like ultimate thigh muscles just like in the air.
But yeah, that was hilarious. Like, yo.
It does make sense that you would comment on the thigh muscles specifically.
The ballet?
No.
ballet
It's
dancers?
just no.
You-
It's just
That's your thing.
Yeah, I think I already talked about that. I thought that the cinematography on this movie is also very, very good.
Mhm.
And their quote unquote camera tricks, I guess you could say, as well.
Mm.
Like at the dance, for instance, where they like blur out everything except for
I was like, they did their best.
it's fun watching classic movies to see like here's the
How far we've
technique
come.
that we were using back then to do these things, which were very creative and very advanced, I guess you could say, for that time. And then to see how we've upgraded those
I'm
things.
just thinking about the shields in Doom.
That too.
The what?
The shield.
shield.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, so much better. Oh,
I feel like sci-fi movies
Is
are the
it
best example
better?
of that.
yeah.
Is it? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Those
I didn't like
blocks
that
were
octagon,
everything.
like that thing block that's see-through. Like,
Colin, your taste is very interesting.
I mean-
you know what else I miss about old movies? The contrast with lighting and stuff like that. Like it's like if it's dark, it's dark, and then
Yeah.
when it's light,
Mm.
it's light.
but it's because it was like done with film. Because
Oh,
like if you do it digitally,
and it's so I love that contrast. It's so beautiful, and it's a very similar thing that happens with Sound of Music as well. I noticed that while I was watching it. I love that type of stuff.
And
Look
I love
at
the
me
way
being
they-
a stupid film snob. My
Yeah.
No,
bad.
but I
Right,
love
but-
when they do that in older films because there were limitations, right, with film. You
Yep.
needed a lot more light in a scene. There was a lot more time that it took to light a scene and get it right because
That's why old
film.
dude got fired. They
Ex-
was over budget.
whoops. But one of the like really easy plot devices they could use because like shit, it was gonna be dark anyway, is like have somebody's face is in darkness or just their profile or like using the darkness to their advantage. And it's not something that you see as often now.
It's gorgeous when you do such contrasty things like that.
And I feel like it's just a plot device that we don't really need anymore because we shoot digitally, we shoot in like brighter and modern lights. And
But the thing is, because we shoot digitally, like you can do that better would be the hope because the technology is so much more advanced. And it's the same reason why the guy who did Solo was very much inspired by The Godfather and went for much darker tones and light in that movie, is you can dig so much deeper in the shadows and still kind of see detail. Or you can do what they did with Mad Max Fury Road and you can just shoot everything in daylight and then color it to look like night. So that's cool too.
yeah.
We really should move on
Yeah.
to
Onward, forward.
favorite aspects of this movie. Dallas, you got to figure
Mhm.
something out, buddy.
Yes, obviously, the one person who's actually Puerto Rican.
I was gonna say that. You took it from me.
Yeah, you know.
Just kidding.
What else would it be?
Yeah, so my
Say
favorite
something.
part of this movie is Rita Moreno for a lot of reasons. For one, Rita Moreno before this movie had been declining roles for years because she was like, I don't want to play the exotic one anymore.
Mm.
And what she was hoping would happen after she won her Oscar, which is what happens with like white people that win Oscars. She was hoping that winning the Oscar and taking this movie and like,
It would take off.
it would take off. And that's not what happened. She still had to be nitpicky with her roles. I freaking respect the crap out of her, especially with the bullshit she had to deal with behind the scenes. And
Yeah,
she
I mean,
had
somebody thought she was racist. I mean, look at that.
that was so dumb. And she had one of the best Oscar speeches ever, which was, I can't believe it. I'll leave you with that. And then she just fucking left. And I was like, yes, don't thank anyone. Like, you did it for yourself. And I love her for it.
My favorite aspect, probably the songs, because like musicals, especially when musicals have a lot of songs, they're often hit or miss. Where it's like some
Mhm.
songs I'm rocking with, some songs just like I don't care about this. But this one pretty consistently, I was like, no, I rock with all of it.
Yeah, I feel like visuals and sound outside of brownface are my favorite parts of this movie. I think that, like Colin said, the songs are really, really great. They're iconic. They are classic. We've done so many iterations of different songs, like I Feel Pretty, which I've heard of mashup with Unpretty by TLC. It's fantastic. Glee, you were good for a couple of things.
Both of them involving Darren Criss.
No, not true. Not true. Naya Rivera as well.
You're right.
Who also would have made a fantastic Anita.
You're not
Anyway,
gonna disrespect my nigga Jonathan Groff.
Jonathan Groff is great when he's on that show.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You're right.
He was barely ever on it, but he was there.
He was on it like 5 times.
Yeah, no, there were some great things about Glee in those first few years. It was a fun time.
Speaking of Rita Moreno, I wrote down a line that she says to the Greek man playing her Puerto Rican brother. She says,
Oh, you mean her
sometimes I don't
boyfriend?
know. Wait.
Yes.
Yes. She don't have a brother.
You said brother.
I'm getting people mixed
Bernardo,
up.
not Benicio. Bernardo.
Right. Not Benvolio.
Yeah.
No, Benvolio.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Get it together, Gabby.
Just B
She
names
says,
are being thrown around.
Oh, yeah. B. I'm going to call him B.
B.
Sometimes I don't know which is thicker, your skull or your accent. And the fact that she said that while putting on an accent to a man who was putting on an accent. Oh boy, the 60s.
Cinema.
Cinema.
This was not written by brown people.
And it's still not, which leads us to, what are you guys anticipating for this new version of West Side Story, which is being adapted from the play, not a remake of the movie?
I would like to say I'm anticipating Puerto Ricans, but I guess I'm not. That's the conversation Colin and I had.
Listen, I'm just glad there's no brown face in this.
Oh, yeah. You know.
Like,
Definitely.
like I know that's setting the bar on the floor, and like it's just nice to see a cast of Latinos, and that's it.
I'm just so glad that they're not racist.
Like there's Afro Latinos, but it's like, are they leading ladies? No,
Wait.
not really. They're like second.
Ariana?
Like, yeah, but she's like,
Who's she playing? Anita?
she's not
Yeah.
the top build. She's like after.
She's one of the
They're still keeping.
she's like one of the top 4 people in the movie.
I know, but they're still keeping Maria like light skinned,
Yeah.
but it's fine.
That's, yeah,
At least
that's
there's Afro Latinos in this one, because like people be forgetting.
Ariana DeBose has actually commented on that's like one of the things she said that's one of the things that's changed about this portrayal of Anita is that when she got the role, her and Spielberg talked about how her experiences as an Afro-Latina differ from somebody like Rita Moreno, and that they included that in the film.
Okay,
So
good.
I'm
excited to see.
intrigued to see how accurate that is. I'm a huge fan of Ariana DeBose because of Schmigadoon. She was fantastic on Schmigadoon. I was actually hoping that she would get cast as Elphaba after I saw that show. I think she'll do a great job. She's probably most well known for Hamilton. If you have not seen Schmigadoon, she plays the bullet.
Oh yeah.
Rachel Zegler, I've talked about her a number of times on this podcast. Just throw a stone and I might have talked about her in the episode. This is her first feature film ever. I'm excited to see what she does as Maria. I have been super stoked. I've been hoping that these trailers would show more of her, and they are, but I wanted to hear more of her singing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did she just like go in and like from like a giant pool of people get picked?
It was an open audition that she went to, and I think she said that she spent a year auditioning for this movie,
That
and
sounds about right.
I read in an article that she won out over 30,000 plus girls. If you've seen her YouTube channel, she is a fantastic singer. I'm excited to see what her acting skills are like. I'm assuming they're good because then she booked Shazam! Fury of the Gods and then she booked Snow White for Disney.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she's very talented. This is not the first time that she's played Maria in West Side Story. She did it in high school.
Oh yeah, 100%.
She has an idea of what she's doing. Steven Spielberg said at their rap party that she is the best Maria that he's ever seen.
Damn.
Colin, did you say what you're looking forward to?
What am I expecting for the new
It's
one?
what he's expecting, not necessarily
that's
what he's
yeah.
looking forward to.
I mean, I don't know. The thing about West Side Story is like the problems that I have with like its story or its characters are just part of it. So it's
Right.
like the brown face obviously fixed that because that's awful.
Right.
But like these people just being stupid, they're still gonna be stupid, and there's
Right.
not really anything you can do about that.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But I mean,
It's the same feeling he has about Dune, except they made Dune 84 fun for him.
well, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Well, yeah. That was a complete tonal shift from the book. That's the thing. They're not gonna do that this time.
Right.
So it's like, I'm wondering how they'll do the racism, because you're not gonna have the slurs being thrown around, probably.
You might.
I think
Might.
it's still
It
still
gonna
takes
have
place
the
in the
slurs.
60s?
Yeah,
Which-
it's still taking
Yeah,
That
it's
is
still
also
places.
something
Or
I've
50s.
always wondered about. Is like, who chooses to play those roles where you got to be throwing around the slurs or being the racist
Roy
or
Wood Jr. had a recent stand-up thing about that I'm going to show you.
cool.
So Colin, the answer is Quentin
Because
Tarantino.
right, and that's fine. If you're like Clint Eastwood or Quentin Tarantino and you just like that,
I mean,
okay.
would you like to ask Will Poulter how he felt about picking a role where he played a racist?
Yeah, it's stuff like that. I'm just like,
Because those stories still
Huh.
need to be told. What are we gonna do? Just
Right,
not
right,
have
right,
people
right,
play
right.
racist?
well, I mean,
This is gonna be holograms.
ooh, I love
Well,
that.
that was a point that Roy Wood Jr. made. He was like, the ultimate white ally is the one that chooses to be the racist in the movies. He's like, because they're not going to be a nice character. That's an ugly character.
Right? You gotta
And they're
apologize
doing
after
it,
every
like,
shot.
He's like, somebody has to say it. Like, he's like, could you imagine saying the N-word to Kerry Washington in front of Samuel L. Jackson? Like,
I mean, that's a
So-
good point.
yeah, so like, someone got to do
Somebody gotta do it.
it. Oof.
I hate to say that somebody gotta do it. But
No, I
somebody-
mean, I feel like there's enough black pain movies in the world, so really nobody has to do it.
Well, now it's not about black pain. Now we're talking about Latinos.
Yeah,
so-
this is brown pain, but like also black pain in the movie, right? 'Cause
Well,
there's, like,
with
Afro-Latinos.
Ariana, yeah.
Also, speaking of racism, which we have been for the last hour.
Yep.
One of the things that's interesting to me about the casting for the new one, because Colin, we've already talked about the whole close
Mhm,
enough casting thing, is that part of the racism in the one we just watched
Mhm.
is because Tony is Polish,
Yeah, there was that too.
and it's like comedically ironic that Rachel Zegler's other half is Polish.
Oh, goodness
It's like
I forgot about that.
it's just
Oh.
really funny to me, which obviously doesn't matter. Like if you're half Latino, you're still Latino. But it's
Yeah.
just like
Yes.
your other half is Polish, and the movie's like, he's Polish. I don't want him dating my sister.
Yeah. Rachel Zegler and Ariana DeBose are literally like the things I'm most excited about in this
I
movie.
think literally everyone, because nobody's talking about the guy that's playing Tony. 'cause
We-
he's
well, no.
problematic AF.
Yeah, we don't talk about
Sorry,
him
what?
anymore.
We'll tell you.
We'll
off
tell you
camera.
afterwards. I'm also hella excited about the cinematography because that trailer, that first teaser, when it opens with the whistle and then you see, like, when you see the guys walking into the warehouse and it's just the shadows. Oh my God.
I like that it looks like it was filmed on film.
It does.
And I'm like, yes.
It looks gorgeous.
It's
and then,
like what's that movie that just came? Knives Out, and like how Knives Out looks like it was made on film,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was like digital. Like that.
shout out to Steve Yedlin. He's great.
Yep. So like I love that they're using that as like a device to kind of take you back.
Yeah, and same thing with Dune a little bit because Dune transferred the digital that they did. They shot it on digital, and they transferred it onto actual film, and then they
Ooh.
rescanned it into digital.
Yo, okay. I was like, there's like a layer to this movie that I can't quite place.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
They wanted the emulsion, I believe, of film for Dune. But yeah, I'm most excited about the girls, but the cinematography looks like it's great. It's a movie by Spielberg, and Spielberg very rarely makes bad movies. The man is really just trying to check off every genre that he possibly can. He's
Yeah.
never done a musical. He said that West Side Story was the first popular secular music that his parents allowed into their household.
Oh,
So he loves West Side Story.
that makes sense.
So I'm excited.
And also, like, it's ripe for a remake because of the brown face. Like, there was like some deep, shitty racism in it. So yeah, just fix it, remake it. And Spielberg's, I mean, he's talented AF.
Spielberg is talented at AF. That's why he is known as one of the greatest directors of all time. I'm so stoked to finally see Rachel Zegler. I've been waiting a year and a half. Well, it got
Also-
pushed back a year, so I've been waiting like
Yeah.
2 years at this point.
Also, I feel like, well, Spielberg's been making movies since like the 70s. So I feel like if somebody's going to give us a good like little hint of like a little bit of a classic musical, it's definitely going to be Spielberg.
Yeah.
Because he's been like making movies for like 50 years now.
Yeah, it looks good. Also, the America number looks fantastic.
In the Sunshine.
Yeah, and with those dresses,
Yes.
the color,
Yeah.
love it. Love it. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and at the same time, I'm not sure what to anticipate when I actually go see the movie.
I'm excited to see it.
And they said that it's supposed to follow closer to the stage play than the original movie did, but I don't know what that means. But
Me either. I've never seen a stage play. So.
the trailers look like it's following Maria a lot more than it's following Tony. But I don't know if that's to avoid marketing the guy playing Tony
I think that's what it is.
or if it's actually how the movie's gonna go.
I think it's the bottom one. Also,
I hope for the latter.
also like actually in like West Side Story, like at the end credits, like they put Natalie Wood as like the top build.
Yeah.
And then everybody else behind her. So I feel like makes sense.
It would be nice to follow Maria a little bit more than Tony. I think I'm the one out of all of us who's the most excited about this movie coming out.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
it's like
certainly.
me.
Yeah,
And then-
it was on my most anticipated list last year.
Mine.
Gonna be excited to hear your review of it, Dallas.
Dallas isn't gonna see
it was
it.
a
Hold your
movie.
breath.
I heard. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
I can give
Dallas,
my review right now. I ain't see it.
yeah, Dallas isn't gonna see it.
He's gonna be like, Maria continues to be trash with a capital T.
Guys, tune
Probably.
in next time, and you guys will find out whether or not I got Gabby back on another episode so that we could review West Side Story.
Vamos a ver.
Let's go.
Yes. Thank you, audience, for sticking with us as you always do. Unless you didn't make it this far. And no, you did because you're listening. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io, putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube,
And pitching this idea.
pitching this idea, and giving us a bunch of depressing trivia.
Oh, it's my honor.
Gabby, thank you for repping for the Latinx community and coming back after being gone for who knows how many episodes.
Ow,
We're recording
ow.
this in advance, so I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty confident that
It's
this
a
is your
good
first
guess.
episode in a while.
That's probably a safe
Oh,
bet.
so I guess I should say now, we missed you, Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby, you're back.
That's a safe bet.
It's been so long. Colin, thank you for vibing with me on Not Vibing with Shakespeare.
Mhm.
Audience, what did you think of West Side Story? Are you looking forward to the next one? Do you wish that Demi gave us fun facts that weren't depressing?
Okay, wait. I've got
Oh,
one.
no,
I've got
I
one.
think she
has
I've got
one.
one. I've got one.
Yeah, okay.
So, Russ Tamblyn, who plays Riff, is
Oh.
the father of Amber Tamblyn.
Amber Tamblyn?
For
I've
real?
heard that name. Who is she?
Damn.
What does she do? She's
She's
an
married
actress?
to David Cross. She was in
Right.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's the
That's
truth.
cool. That's a fun fact. That's not depressing. Hope he's a good dad. Anyway.
There you go. There's your fun fact of the episode.
All right.
Woo, that's actually a fun fact.
He's the father of Amber Tamblyn. Also, another fun fact. Well,
Oh, damn.
fun for me. I don't
Now
know if
you
it's
bring it
fun
out.
for you.
Okay.
It's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for you guys. Apparently, Natalie Wood has a list of, or had a list of people that she did not like that she would keep in her dressing room. And Richard Baymar was in it and didn't find out until he was shooting Twin Peaks in 1990 with Russ Tamblyn. Tony.
Richard Baymar.
Oh shit, she
Tony.
didn't like
Awkward.
Tony.
Acting.
I love that.
Acting.
She's talented as fuck. Also, fucked up fact about Natalie Wood. Her mom went to a fortune teller who was basically like, your daughter's gonna be very famous, but she will die in dark water. And so her mom instituted this horrible fear in Natalie Wood of dark ocean water, and she never learned how to swim. And so that's a fucked
That's
up
a
fact.
self-fulfilling prophecy, I
Yep.
feel like.
Mhm. Yep.
In case you remember, I was saying, do you guys wish Demi gave us some fun facts that weren't depressing?
And I
Mhm.
did.
And then Demi did that. And then they got progressively worse from there.
And then Gabby finished it with the
So,
worst one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the hate list is hilarious.
That's amazing. I love it.
Right. I'm just saying,
Also-
it's less, it's more negative than, oh, this guy he has a famous daughter. Family. And then Gabby was
Family.
like, death. So if you would like to air your grievances with Gabby,
Prophesize death.
yes. Find us, let us know in the comments or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you would like to talk to me about anything else, hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram at a king named Simba.
That sounded desperate.
Please, not any more West Side Story.
I've given enough time to this movie.
If you want to talk to me about old musicals from the 60s and stuff like that, or if you want to talk to me about the drama that was Natalie Wood's life, or the new West Side Story, hit me up on Instagram. It's at Stegosaurus.
If you want to talk to me about why the classics are trash, you can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
Colin, I love you. That's
Yep.
such a take.
This is a message specifically for Rachel Zegler. Yo, I'm doing so much promotion out here for you. You guys can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. To be fair, she has tweeted me before, though.
Oh my
so-
God, can't wait. I
About
hope
the
she listens
podcast.
To the podcast. Wait, what?
Nice.
Yeah, she tweeted me about the podcast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Rachel Zegler.
Hey.
Rachel Zegler.
So there we go. Got you.
Yeah. All right.
That's our fun fact.
That's actually a good one. Save it for last. It's good. Go out on a high note.
Yay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. All right, y'all. It's been different. Bye.
Bye.
What's our tag
We
for
don't
this?
have we don't have a time.